July 26th, 2016. We've all been told only about 1,000,000,000,000 times that America's soldiers are the best of us. If you haven't been in the military, then you certainly know many people in your own family who have. And it's the ultimate in perverse irony when a soldier survives the horrors of the battlefield abroad only to be gunned down like a dog after he gets back to his home country. But that's exactly what happened to Charles Allen Judge and Jonathan Prince of South Carolina. Now, I know you didn't hear much about this one at all, and it's for the same reason that the media said nothing about Billy Monroe Jones, the white man who murdered a sheriff's deputy just yesterday. Because when white people kill, the white media ignores it. And so these two soldiers would become human sacrifices in the self-inflicted genocide of white-on-white crime. Charles Judge served in Operation Iraqi Freedom, and he was an instructor at the McCready Training Center in South Carolina. He had a son and a daughter. Prince leaves behind a wife and 3 children, one of them only 3 years old. Now, the white killer is 25-year-old Joseph Elijah Mills. He and a female companion were outside of the Frayed Knot Bar and Grill when the woman, according to Mills, grabbed some of his drugs off the car seat and ran towards the bar. She then went around back to the bar's loading dock. Mills chased her there and, according to reports, began to beat her. A number of the bar's patrons then tried to restrain Mills, who pulled a gun and began to shoot into the air. This was when Judge and Prince approached him, trying to defuse the situation. But there is no reasoning with a white man. Mills gunned down both of these soldiers and, according to the owner of the bar, he just walked off like he was shopping in an aisle at a grocery store, just nonchalantly taking his time and walking off. And why not? He's got plenty of experience with violence, because you won't be at all surprised to learn that Joseph Mills is yet another white man with a violent criminal record, arrested and charged with domestic violence in 2014. But rather than give him a stiff prison sentence, he was just let go. And why not? After all, white people aren't violent like black people, right? So you can afford to give them a slap on the wrist. It's not like it'll ever come back to bite you. The aunt of the woman that Mills assaulted in 2014 is a black woman, I should add. So one would be a fool not to at least suspect that the woman Mills was pursuing that night was black as well. We live under white supremacy, and a white man's freedom means more than the law, more than the lives of others, even white lives. They see this as a war, and they are fully willing to accept a few casualties as the price of keeping potential race soldiers on the street. This is South Carolina, by the way, the same place that gave the world garbage like Dylan Roof. Human lives mean nothing to trash like them. These white males run around with guns because they fully understand themselves to be weak, empty nothings, and they know that the rest of the world looks at them the same way. The problem is that the justice system is overrun with white supremacist fellow travelers. People think it's a game when I say that we need to start targeting DA's offices and judgeships for takeover, but that's where the rubber meets the road. What's the best way to ensure that a DA doesn't refuse to indict a race soldier? Make sure that you choose the DA and put him on the bench. And I say you choose him because that doesn't mean to make a selection from the cherry-picked list of safe Negroes that the Democrats present to you. That means you have to go out and find a brother or sister from your own community, one that you've had the chance to sit down with and vet personally, one who you've made certain understands that their job is to take the war to the race soldiers and defeat them in the courtrooms. When a white man is arrested for a crime, we need DAs who will make sure that they drop the courthouse on these bastards. You could cut crime in half overnight if DAs would merely prosecute white males for the crimes they commit. These guys always have tons of priors, but they're always let go time and again. No wonder they become so bold with their violence. The white society has given them the clear, undeniable message that as white men, the law simply doesn't apply to them. So, white people have no place bitching and whining when one of their sons commits a horrible crime like this. White society has become an incubator for lawlessness. Their homes are factories cranking out these homegrown psychopaths who have no respect for life or the law. But then again, neither do their counterparts in the media, the DA's offices, the police departments, or judges' chambers. I'm not glad to see these two white soldiers dead. Not at all. I don't know enough about either of them to praise or condemn them. All I know is that they didn't have to die. But when white absolute freedom is the law of the land, it becomes inevitable that these tragedies will occur time and again. And they will not stop until white people as a group finally admit to what they're doing to themselves. Distracting themselves with the latest gang shooting in the hood may help them feel better, but reality has a terrible way of crashing your daydream. Posting these stories is something of a guilty pleasure for me, in that the white trolls and keyboard clansmen can always be counted on to come whining and complaining because someone's finally exposing the ugly truth about white criminality. Well, rather than bitch and moan at me for telling you the ugly reality about yourselves, why don't you clean up the mess you call a community? Take a stand against the gun-toting white males that your group keeps producing. Stop always hiding your eyes from white crime so that you can pretend you don't have a problem when it's blatantly obvious you do. Because no matter how many white crimes the white media refuses to cover, no matter how many white crimes race soldiers DAs refuse to prosecute, in the end, the vicious animals you allow to walk the streets inevitably turn on you. So, what's it going to be, white America? Hell, why even ask? We already know the answer. You're going to say nothing and do nothing, because saving white face is far more important to you than saving your own white lives. And this is why it won't be long at all before we have to report to you another needless death in the self-inflicted genocide of white on white crime.